are now tuned in to the Not Nobody podcast. Today, as always, next to me, we have Esco.
What up, baby?
We have Berkey.
What's good?
And then you have me, Evan Cheeks. Today with us, very special guests. The indie rock pop ever-changing band, the boys of the Midwest, the Wldlfe.
Woo! Let's go.
What's
Welcome,
up?
boys.
Heyo. How's it going, guys?
Good. We're happy to have you. Happy to have you guys. I think
Thanks for having us.
I think it's so cool to have someone from the Midwest region that is just having a good time and creating some fun music, because you there's not a lot coming out other like of this type of music that I think. So we're really excited.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, I think we need to start the home base, the origin of Wldlfe. Where did everyone come from, and how did this get put together?
Yeah, I mean we all met in college. So like me and Carson grew up in Chicago. We're brothers, and then Jack's from a tiny town. And have you guys talked about this before we started?
No.
Okay. Jack can talk about Attica in a second, but then Jeff's from Greenwood. So
Oh yeah, we know Greenwood.
yeah, so we all met in college, and I was kind of doing some solo stuff, and then I was kind of drained on that and wanted to do a band, and it just kind of happened. So
Anderson, right?
It's been Anderson University. Yeah.
What year are you there?
I graduated 2018. And you guys are
Okay.
17, right?
Yeah,
Right, Jack? Yeah.
2017.
Yeah, I have a buddy who went there. He was in the music program. I think they have a studio there. He was doing a lot of stuff there. I don't know if you guys would. His name was Anthony Howard.
Yeah, Howie.
Yeah. I gave him the nickname Howie.
Can we talk?
Really?
Can we talk about how like he's done this before? He's thrown out a name and like they're not gonna know. This is the first time that it's hit and landed that he's thrown a name out and someone's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely, I know that guy."
That's crazy.
Yeah, I can't say. Yeah, go ahead, Jack.
I was just saying, my freshman year, he lived across the hall and one door down. So just like kind of
super cool
me.
dude, super genuine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was super cool. I didn't ever really know him that well.
Yeah,
but I definitely like ran into him all the time.
yeah, he's a really cool dude.
Dude, what? I just can't believe you knocked that down like that. That's crazy.
I have some, we won't stay on, the college too much, but I do have some inside information, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but were you guys the last people to perform in Rice Hall? I'm on it.
That was pre-me. I was at that show though.
Oh, you were at it, but you weren't in it.
Yeah, I wasn't in the band then.
Oh,
I didn't
dang.
join until like the first EP came out in like March, I think 2016, and then I think I joined in like May or June.
Yeah, May or June.
How'd that go? Like, how'd you get involved with the Wldlfe?
Did you know the guys, and then like you've just been a fan, and you're like you were gonna link up eventually, or how'd that happen?
Dude, I finessed my way into this so hard. So I knew two of the guys in the band. I knew our drummer and our old guitar player Jason. They like were on my floor, and I was just like buds with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't really know Jansen that well. I feel like you kind of know everybody there to some degree, but I never really like talked to him or anything. But
It's okay. I didn't know you either, Jack. I had no idea who you were.
Well, I knew who you were, but I didn't know. The first time I actually met you is we had accounting together, and we sat, and that was that spring that your EP came out, and I was in another band, and I put an EP out around the same time, so knew of them. We're both kind of doing music stuff. I didn't really want to be in my old band anymore, and saw what they were doing and was like, this is super cool, and I like these guys. And like I said, I was next to Jansen, so I was kind of like getting to know him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you fangirled your way in there. You totally
a little bit. Well, I was just like, I really appreciated that it seemed like they were like having fun with it, and it was music that like I thought was super cool, and I liked the people in it, and like I said, they were taking it like seriously, which is something I kind of wanted to do. Like I wanted to be in a band that like played shows and toured or whatever. I was hanging out with Jeff one night, and I was like, hey, I didn't play bass, by the way. I had never played bass in anything. And I was like, if you ever need me to do anything, I'll learn it. And I didn't think he would actually even say anything to anybody. But then Jansen texted me one day, and he was like, hey, you want to try these couple shows and see how it goes? And I was like, let's go.
Little did he know you're sitting front row being like, guys, I'll come up right now if you want me to. I will be there.
I know the words.
I couldn't have. I didn't know how to play. Like I learned bass to be in this band.
That is crazy.
That's crazy.
They had
anything.
They had a piece that they need filled, and you were just like, you know what, I'm gonna fit my mold. I'm gonna get it. Like I'm gonna be a part of this.
Well, I knew enough to know, like if it were drums, that's like beyond my wheelhouse to like pick up decently quick. And I like played guitar growing up.
Gotcha.
Never like anything crazy, but like I knew my way around. So I was like, well, bass is easier in some regard at a bass level, pun intended. It's easier to like pick up.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just finesse my way into this real quick.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, you know, talking about being in the Midwest and stuff, you know, I have a lot of friends in the music industry. What is your guys' take on trying to be like a band in the Midwest? I guess like you're in Tennessee, so that's kind of the South, but like, you know, you guys originated here in Indy.
Was that a challenging region to come out of?
Has it been hard for you guys?
Yeah, I think that there's pros and cons to it. So I'll start with the pros. So I think that ultimately there's not a better spot that you can really start a band because there's so many major cities in such a compact area. And so if you really want to get out and tour and like have that experience, like you can do that. If you really want to. I think the challenges come in with like I guess just the community in all of those cities, like being able to support, excuse my cat. He's probably going to talk a lot.
Hey, he's like, hey, I got to get my 2 cents in. I'm pretty sure.
Hold on. I'm going to bring this down here. So you can see him. You can't see him right now, but you'll see him later.
I'm pretty sure he comes up in a fan question. So just be prepared.
He's literally so needy. Like if I'm sitting on the ground, if I come home, like he will just like lay underneath me and roll over.
What's his name?
His name's Finn.
Finn, all right, buddy, we'll give you some shine, Finn. You can just hang on, man. We'll get you on. You know what? You might be the promo.
My man's.
Oh yeah. So anyway, I think that it, like the con really comes into when you're wanting like the right community to be able to support your band and like help you grow, because in Indy there's not really a strong, you know, music scene.
Right.
And really there's not a ton of that in like any city in the Midwest. I feel like you could argue that Columbus is probably the best for at least like a band like us.
Yep.
And that's purely because 21 Pilots came out of there. And so there's like this buzz about that music scene. But like even growing up in Chicago, like the music scene there is very hip hop oriented. So,
and it's really crowded.
Yeah, but too. I mean, yeah, for sure. Like I think that I'm really glad that we started in Indy because it gave us the platform to be like the band from Indy,
sure,
and kind of like make a name for ourselves. But I will say, like moving here, like being able to have built something and then move here rather than start here, I think was really beneficial for us because it gave us some legitimacy coming in here.
Yeah.
And I think that being here, like it's really done a lot for us. Just in terms of like getting to know people that can really help us and becoming better artists and writers and stuff like that. So
I think it really changes your story too. Like the stories that you get, how you grow up, like the environment that you got. If you grew up on the other side, I mean, you might not get those stories. You might not get that kind of the chances that you got when you were here. So I guess, you always think about what if you were in another place, but sometimes it just falls in line.
Yeah. And I didn't even think about that. Like a lot of people do move to Nashville to start, like you said, but you guys already, you know, had something developed and then you branched out and went out there. That's pretty smart. I know that you talked about it. I was going to jump in, but I didn't want to interrupt. You mentioned 21 Pilots and you guys, I know you guys toured on the West Coast a little bit. Didn't Josh Dunn, like the drummer from 21 Pilots, he showed up at one of your shows, right?
I like you guys. Yeah, he was there. We played a thing called School Night. It's like a label showcase. It happens once a month in LA. We actually drove out from Indy, broke the van. My phone died. All right. Hold on a second.
I mean, you're good. We got Zoom.
You tell the story.
we basically, I mean, our manager at the time was like, "Hey, I think this would be really good for you," and we had nothing else lined up. And I mean, kind of because of that too, we were like, "Yeah, why not?" It was like a 30-hour round trip for essentially one show, and
Wow.
it was super cool because we actually met a band called Wldlfe there. They're from, I think they're like based in Dallas. I don't know. They kind of live all over the place, a bit like us, but got to meet them there. And then I know Josh was there. I didn't actually see him at all. I know our drummer is like a big 21 Pilots fan.
Yeah.
And actually like found him, I think, and got a picture with him, but I don't remember why he was there. I don't remember if he just like showed up because I guess it kind of has like a reputation of being like something to go to of like, I guess, up and coming artists.
I gotcha.
I don't know if he knew somebody there or if he just kind of showed up, but
Hey, be
Yeah, he was there.
careful. Be careful. Your drummer will try and fit the mold and hop on 21 Pilots. You never know. They might
he
need
would implode. He would love that. I'd have to learn to drum if I got that.
So I saw you guys live at Old National when you guys did your like debut album show. You did like the show for Indy, and you just ran from top to bottom that album. What made you guys? Because now you guys, like, obviously Jansen and Carson, they grew up in Chicago. So what made you guys like pick Indy to be your hometown, and like how was that show for you guys?
I think it was partially just because we kind of came together in Anderson, but it's such a weird place to claim. Like, not to, I guess, out Jansen, but he like it's true, but like he didn't grow up in Chicago. He grew up like right outside of Chicago. But for like all intents and purposes, he grew up in Chicago. Like,
Right.
I'm from Indiana, and I wouldn't even know where he like grew up if you were to just tell me. I wouldn't know where that is in relativity to anything. So he just says
Chicago.
like I'm from Chicago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it just makes everything easier. So I think that's partially why we chose Indy. Was just like Anderson, Indiana feels weird, and Indy's kind of a B market too, but at least like it has name recognition,
Right.
and like we're not super far from it when we were at AU.
Right.
And it kind of goes with the wanting to be like the band that comes out of Indy. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's an opportunity there to be the kind of the first to do it. So
Yeah,
that was kind of like a big thing. And also like I get saying that we're from Chicago when we're not at all really is like not.
It doesn't feel
really
right.
helpful.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
feel right. I think that like Indy is a strong point because when Cheeks over here was talking about Wldlfe, I know he's put on a ton of people on there, and the first thing that they're drawn to, like to get a band on, you point out where they're local. They're like, it's an indie band. It's like, oh, I'll check them out. And so like it brought on a lot of people. It's just a smart play. Like, it's home, so your other people are gonna connect to it more. And I mean, Indy is a solid place to do that if that's where you're from.
And you obviously, you guys have a ton of fans too. So yeah, talk a little bit about that. How was that show for you guys in your perspective?
It was great.
amazing.
Yeah, that I think today is still probably one of my favorite shows that we ever played, if not my favorite, just because I don't know if saying it was unexpected is the right way to word it, but like it's almost like we expected it because we knew how many tickets we sold. Like, we knew like whatever, but there were a lot of people who traveled, like fans that were from different cities all across the US that were just there, like flew in for
That's
it.
cool.
And I think at the end of the day, like it was just kind of shocking. Like, even though we kind of like knew what to expect, like we didn't really know, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And just to like hear people like sing your stuff back to you and like loud is just like a different feeling.
Yeah, that's
like
wild.
to feel known, especially after playing so many shows where people don't know who you are. Like, you get used to that feeling of like expecting that you like nobody's gonna really know.
Right.
And Indy's such a weird scene for music that even if you know, you don't really know, you know what I mean? So it was just kind of a crazy night. Just like, it made us feel like a real band. And like, I think that we've had some of those moments along the way, and that's probably one of them where, not that we like felt like giving up, but it just kind of felt like we were at this like standstill of like,
See,
falling into this like lack of motivation. And then
Yeah.
you like get that moment of like, okay, cool. Yeah, we can do this.
I was gonna,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So talking about like the kind of crowd and atmosphere. 2015 to 2016. Now it's come a long way. You've accomplished a lot in like what 5 years. There's 4+ projects, a plethora of singles, some huge touring mates. Does it feel like this is kind of the start, or does it feel natural yet? Because I have a buddy who's started off in a band, and now he's over in Colorado. And I asked him, I was like, what does it feel like now? And he was like, the weirdest part about growing was not going to show and not just having your mom and 5 of your drunk buddies front run the audience singing your band. You had an actual fan base singing. Like that was the most powerful part.
It kind of weirdly ties back to what you said, like what you guys were talking about earlier about like basing out of Indy. And I think the cool thing about that was I think it just like forced us out quicker. Because we get like the infrastructure of Indianapolis kind of sucks a bit in that regard of like, there's not a ton of great all age venues. And especially like when we first started out, our audience,
or any.
Yeah, no, seriously though.
Yeah.
Well, it's like first off, the best all ages venue, the cap of that is like 800.
Right.
So like, and it's Old National Center.
Yeah.
But I mean, the basement room is like probably the best all ages venue, and it's like 800 cap. So like, unless you're starting off crazy strong, you're not filling it.
Right.
So
true.
I think it pushed us out early, quick. And I think we would have done it anyway, because I think we had the itch to like kind of get out. But I think that was like the super rad thing about like just the growth trajectory, I guess, is like it felt like we didn't isolate the bubble. Because that was kind of like, to what I understand, 21 Pilots' experience was like starting in Ohio, like centralizing and just blowing that up as big as it could get until it popped.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, that's the cool thing I think about what we did, and like leads to cool experiences like the Indy show where we have people flying in, is like starting out, we weren't like the biggest band of any particular area, but we could go to like Dallas and we could go to Chicago and we could go to like all of these places and like
show out.
You'd slowly see, I mean, like the first shows there are shows we've done, dude, that like are a nightmare. They're like nightmare scenario shows where you're like, I don't like, can we just like pack it up?
Yeah, like, let's just get out of this town.
Yeah, like, I mean, you get booked into like a city you've never been to. It's like 150 cap room and there's like 4 people and you're like, yikes.
Yeah.
I have to get up here and play for 30 minutes. That's crazy.
Thank God my mom and dad flew out for this one.
Yeah, but it's like, it slowly builds over time. And that's what's been like super cool about now, where it really feels like it's picking up momentum. Because I was talking to Jansen about this the other day. It feels like we're starting to get over the hump. Because just statistics, if you look at our numbers, we're like looking at numbers from like last year, like where our Instagram was at versus where it is now. And it's like, it just the growth in that last year, like what took us like 4 years to build up, it felt like so slow. And now it feels like every time we put a song out, or every time we do a show, or not as of late, but, or, you know, every time we have those kind of interactions or experiences, it just now feels like it's like snowballing.
Yeah, for sure.
Which feels really good.
Speaking of that, Blue Check Boys on Instagram now.
Verified.
Blue Check Boys.
About goddamn time.
Jeez.
Dude, I know exactly what you're talking, because he was telling me about you guys since we started, and so that's been it's been about a year now. But I remember checking out your band. I could tell the difference, and I don't want to put numbers on it, but I think it went from 4,000 to now you guys are like around 10,000. Like even then, like you guys, there's been huge growth, man. There really has. So.
Yeah, but I mean, the craziest thing is like from year 1 to year 4, I mean, like that 4,000, like, or whatever it was, is like, that's the hardest grind, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a lot of people like talking about you. You don't have the buzz behind you. You literally just have to like convert. You just have to make somebody bring their friend to a show of 10 people in the middle of Alabama and be like, check this band out.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we have the responsibility to turn that person who maybe didn't even want to come into a fan that like follows and interacts and engages. So that like first chunk is like toughest.
What was the envision of what you guys were going to be? Like, what did you guys want to represent to these people that are showing up to these shows that have never heard of you guys or know anything about your music?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't think that there is a great answer for that. I think that we kind of just really wanted to write good music and play shows because it made us feel cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just did it. And I think that along the way, we've kind of figured out, like, I don't think any of us have this like huge desire to be, I guess, famous. Like, I don't think any of us have really felt that way. Obviously, if the opportunity came to, like, we're going to grind and we're going to work hard. And if we end up being the biggest band in the world, like, that's awesome. But I think for us, like, we just have such this mentality of making good music and getting better and not just trying to get bigger. And so I think that that's really helped us along the way, because at this point, I feel like we really have gotten better with every project that we have put out. And I think that it's now converting people, over time. Like, when we played shows for 10 people, like, we'd go back the next time we go there and there'd be, 20 or 50. Yeah. And I don't feel like we ever, I don't think there's ever been a point in our progression as a band that we've gotten worse,
right.
Whether that be like performance wise or, in the studio or writing. Like, I think everything we've done, we worked really hard to be better every single time. And I think that that's truly what, helps grow your band and bring some sustainability to it. Cause we're just trying to get out what we put into it, like, right. We don't want to fade away. Like, we want this to be like our career. And if that means that, maybe we end up, I guess, having to work really hard for 10 years to get 10,000 followers, which I think that we're going to get past that pretty
Boys, quickly. You're on the ride. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's like, I'd rather work really hard and it takes some more time for us to have longevity than for us to just have this overnight success, which seems to be like kind of like the cultural like thing now, is just to like be viral.
Right. Pump a TikTok song out.
Yeah. And it's so weird because you definitely have people like that who will make, like, dude, let's just make a song that's going to pop on viral. Let's just try to do that. And then there are people who, I mean, look at your guys' successes. Like, you're not focused on what we're trying to be. Like, we're just going to do us, and if it rises, it rises. And it's obviously working for you guys.
And I think it's cool because, like, you guys are around the same age as us, all of us. And, like, you see that growth. It's like, if you've been around, 5 years now, it's like, I am so different now at 25 than I was at 20, right? And, like, you can see that, especially with you, Jansen, like, in your writing. You know what I mean? Like, your writing obviously has always been good, but, like, how do you feel now? What's the writing process look like for you now that you've been doing it for, 5+ years?
I think it goes in waves. I think that it's kind of, sometimes the thing that I've learned the most is kind of just letting the music be what it is and not trying to, I guess, like, fit some sort of mold. It's kind of like what you introduced us as is the indie pop alternative, ever changing band. It's like, you just write what comes out. And if it's good, then it's good. Like, it doesn't, like, there's no need to be like, because it's not necessarily what we've always done, or maybe what people are accustomed to liking from us, that it's not good. And sometimes just putting out good music is better than just putting out the right music. And I think that that's kind of something that we've really leaned into, is just like not putting a definition on what kind of music that we are going to put out, because I think that it, kind of stifles your creativity in that way, because then you end up either writing the same song over and over again, or writing worse versions of songs that you've already, written.
For sure.
And so I think, like, right now specifically, like, I haven't had a piano until recently. And so I've just been writing a lot of like weird, like, sad jazz stuff. And, I don't know that any of it will end up being Wldlfe stuff, but, like, I wouldn't, I'd put money on that something will be like that. I don't know that it'll be a jazz song, but
right.
Sometimes you just write what's good and then it comes out, And Jack, I guess the perfect example of that is June. I mean,
yep.
It's not like anything we've ever done, but we just did it because it's great,
True.
And Jack, how often are you experimenting with sounds? Are you like in your mindset, how do you get are you just tampering with different sounds and different plays, or are you putting it into the Wildlife? You're like, all right, now I found my jig, I found my sound, I'm going to continue to push this direction.
Like in my own creativity, like, are you asking like,
how do you get in that? In your mindset? Yeah.
Ugh. I mean, I guess most everything I do at this point pretty much funnels through Wildlife. I kind of like, I like such a wide range of music, and I didn't grow up listening to pop music. So like anything I make on my own is kind of conveniently sectioned into forever living on my laptop for the time being. Just because I grew up listening to like a lot of like punk and hardcore music. But
don't lose that laptop. Don't lose that laptop. There might be gold on there.
There may be. Maybe one day. We'll see what happens. But I think it's tough because I think Jansen and Carson they just make my life so much easier in this regard, but I think they do such a great job of giving, especially lately, because Carson's kind of stepped up in a huge way as a producer. But when I get songs, I guess, from them, they already have such like they have such personality and like such an identity already that, I mean, there's always room for me to kind of experiment, and I love doing that kind of thing. And I tend not to, sometimes to my own detriment, over prepare for studio stuff, just because I like to leave a little breathing room to kind of mess around. But I mean, like I said, they do such a good job of like presenting them in such a way that like I feel like I already know what they're wanting out of, I guess, me as a bassist, and kind of the vision that they have for the song creatively. So, I mean, it's kind of nice. Like I said, it makes my job a little easier because I don't really have to do a whole lot sometimes. And like there are some songs that definitely have more space to kind of like experiment and live in it. But
it's just a tag in.
Like there's some things that just feel like they just already feel so good, and you know, Jansen will sometimes even do like little like rhythm parts on his acoustic. Like a lot of stuff just started as voice notes. And so I'll just get it. It's kind of a lot of kind of previous to this project, especially, it's just been like Jansen singing, maybe a piano or a guitar, and then maybe some thumping on an acoustic to kind of like get the bass vibe.
Yeah.
But it's funny because they're so bare, but they feel like so kind of like weirdly complete. Like I almost get attached to the way they sound so bare.
Yeah, you guys are in rhythm. You guys are in rhythm. That's the beauty of a band.
Blood Orange and Anxious, 2 new singles. How are these 2 singles setting up 2021? And like, what do you guys have planned after these singles come out and hear people's reactions and stuff? What are you guys planning for the rest of the year?
Well, Blood Orange came out about a month ago now, and Anxious comes out tonight. So we're super excited for it. But, I mean, Blood Orange did super, super well. Like we did 50K in the first week, which is great. Like more than we've ever done.
That's huge.
And then did like 100 in 2 weeks. And there's been no playlisting on it whatsoever, which is kind of wild to think about. Like, it's kind of, in some ways it's like, man, like if this was on a playlist, like where would it be? But at the same time, it's like almost cooler to be
right. You accomplished that on your own.
Yeah, you know that's not it's not because of fresh finds, not because of anything. It's all on you guys
and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm always curious how did you decide that these are going to be the starting singles for the album Hype? Because that's a lot of pressure. You're always just like you got a lot and you never know which one's going to hit, and you're like, dude, what do we want to start the story? How do we want to sell this?
I mean, I do think they are the 2 best ones, the ones that we're starting with. But I think that Blood Orange was, I guess, just like a good overarching like statement in terms of, I guess, the project in general.
It was the first song you wrote too, I think, for this project.
Yeah, I think that it was the first one that I wrote, or the first one out of the ones we chose. And I don't know, it to me that song has like a very, I don't know, like distinct like emotion that carries for me, and for some reason, like it just feels like this is like the statement that we need to make. So that's kind of the reason why we chose Blood Orange first, and then Anxious just slaps. That's it.
I was just saying, I think that was the one that like when we were like before we had any sort of plan for how we were going to roll these out, I think Anxious was the one that we were all in agreement that we were like, this needs to be one of them at least.
See, I think that's all that happens is like you're like, one is like, this is going to be the beginning, and then two, you're just like, guys, but let's be honest that we're ready for this. The second one's going to just pop off, and there's always that one that just slaps hard that everyone knows like we need to get that one out.
And even if it doesn't, like it's your guys' favorite, which I always think is cool to ask artists, what's their favorite? Because, you never know, what the fans are going to love, but there's always going to be favorites for you guys. And by the time this airs, Anxious will already be out and people will already be talking about it. How would you guys set up a new listener to dive into the Wldlfe? Like, if someone who's listening to this podcast today, they've never heard your music before, where would you say start from the beginning, start now? What would you tell them?
I'd start now.
Don't even go back.
Like it's a weird.
It almost work backwards in a way.
See, and
yeah,
it's such a different headspace of the stories you're telling. Start 2016, just start now and figure out what you like and where to go.
I think actually the order, and I don't know how recently it's been updated, but like Jansen and I put together like a complete discography playlist on our Spotify. I think the order that is in is almost the order, generally speaking, at least for like the first like 10 or so, is the order I would tell people to like check them out.
Oh, that's cool. We'll have to put that in the bio.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I was like, you guys totally need to rewrite your order to get it out.
Speaking of this project,
make sure it's solid.
What are you guys most looking forward to with this project?
I don't know, man. Like, it's kind of just nice to be putting out stuff and like seeing reactions and growing the fan base, because I think that since we went on tour with Nightly last January, like we really like grew during that period of time, and then everything shut down. So
right.
We haven't really like we put out music since that happened, but it was already all recorded. So like we haven't really put out anything that's like new to us since then. And I think that it's cool to like have a bunch of new people that are paying attention to us and really love our music, like see us put out new music. Like
that'll
the
be
beginning
dope.
of like a new era, because we haven't had that in a while. And it's cool to have new people like be engaged with the things that you're putting out. I don't know. It's just exciting. It feels validating. It also is like super, I don't want to say stressful, but just like, dude, I feel like I've heard Anxious like 7 billion times today, but just the 15 seconds that we posted, that's it.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So it is like, it's kind of weird too, because once you put it out, it's not yours anymore. And we've heard it for so long, and it's been like such a secret, and it's like such a weird feeling, like with Blood Orange, like putting that out and then having everybody see it. It's just like, I don't know. It's a feeling that's hard to describe, but we're just excited to put it out, and hopefully it brings us, the ability to get on a great tour once we're, back to that. And we're super excited.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Playing shows again.
Is that an anxious feeling, holding on to something? Then you're like, I want it out, but also like I want to see how people react to it, and like where the expectations here. And this is like, you guys said it yourself. You guys have solidified your sound, so this is your sound moving forward.
It just makes it feel like it moves really fast. Like we've had all of these songs written at least a year now, and so it's, when you start to like formulate a plan to start putting everything out, it just moves so quickly. Like we've had them for so long, and then all of a sudden, like, okay, now we're like, we actually decided the other day that we're going to try to draw it out a little bit more and do maybe a couple more singles, just because it's like,
sweet.
All right, this is moving too fast. Like we can't, like we want to make sure that we put our best foot forward and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. It's just, it's an exciting time, but also like, it feels like it gets away from you a little bit.
Yep. Yeah.
I think one thing that helped too, because I remember having this discussion before anything came out with Jansen, that like, and I'm very proud of like our back catalog and stuff, but I think one thing that helped with the anxiety, because I think we did make a bit of a shift from what maybe people would have thought the new era would have been like sonically. And I think there there was a bit of like worry around that, like how are people going to take it? And I think you have that worry with any new project, but
Right.
I think this is one of the first times, and like I said, I'm very proud, so I don't want to diss because people get mad at us when we talk ill on our old children. But I think this is like really the first time where like I remember telling Jansen, like, I don't care if I don't care if everyone hates this stuff. And like, that's not what I expect.
Right.
I expect people to enjoy it, but I was like, I'm so proud of this. And like, I love this. Like that's my Spotify Wrapped from last year. If it could include stuff like on my Dropbox, it would be our music. Like that was probably my most listened to, and not because it was like new, but I was like, this stuff is like,
What I'm
to
into.
me, the best stuff we've
Yeah, what
done.
I'm into.
You're making what you want to hear.
Yeah, bands always say like we're making the best music we've ever made, and not that they're lying, but I was like, it feels corny, but it's true. Like
No.
Yeah.
I do feel like this stuff is like the best stuff we've ever done, and like you said, it's like it's filling the gap. Like we're making the music that I feel like I don't have and that I want to listen to.
Yeah, which is the best part. Which is the best part about being a musician.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I feel like the word we've used to describe it a lot is like mature. Like this feels like the mature iteration of us. Whereas like before we were like, I think it's very clear we're still trying to figure it out a bit. And I think with this stuff, like we feel very confident in who we are and the music that we're putting out to almost the degree of like what Jack was saying. It's like there was some not hesitation with putting it out, but just like, you know, people may not love this because maybe it's a little bit too different. But even if we know that it's good. So even if the people that do already like us, maybe don't like us because it's different, we're still going to see growth because there's going to be people who didn't know about us that hear this and are like, this is awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's really something that's helped us be proud of the project. Is at the end of the day, I'm glad we didn't blow up off of anything previously, because you kind of then get stuck into the, like what you were doing. And I'm glad that we have gotten to this point where
you want to
we
be.
can see some like real growth after this stuff, because this is the stuff that I'm proud of and want to keep doing, you know?
Nice.
Yeah. All right, we'll hop into some fan questions and then we'll get out of here.
I forgot about those.
Yeah, fan questions.
Yeah, we have one here. They submitted a question. Their name is Psychoanalytic Theory. They want to know how's Jansen's cat.
I know them. That's Oliver. How's my cat?
I told you he was coming back in the fan questions. Like he's getting his shine right now.
Hey, guess what?
What's going on with your cat?
He came just in time for the question.
He knew it was his time.
He's great. He is very needy. He's hungry all the time. I bought him one of these, I guess like the food thing that, I don't know how to describe this. You know, the things in the office where you like dump the water over and, you know, the giant, like
the water cooler
the blue
thing?
Yeah. I got
The
him
water
one of
cooler?
those.
I don't know what it's called beyond that.
You had so much trouble describing it. I was like, wait, the water cooler?
But it's not a water cooler. What's the blue jug?
It's like the blue
Giant
jug.
that
Blue
you tip
jug.
upside down.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Water
You guys know what I'm
jug.
talking about.
Yeah, the water jug.
the big blue jug.
So I got him one of those, one for water and one for food, and he is much quieter now, which is great. He's also developed this thing. We just like me and my wife recently moved, and I don't know why, but he never did this before. But in the middle of the night, he'll like cry, like whine that he never did before. So it's like it's not like a normal like talking. It's like more whiny and crying.
Like he's waking up like, where am I?
That would scare the shit out of me every night. My cat just starts whining in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh God, what's going on?
Yeah, last night he was doing it. It was annoying me. I was like, dude, I'm trying to sleep. I don't know. That's how he's doing.
We got another question from Maddie Weiss and Natalie Simmons, 21. What was the meaning behind Blood Orange?
I mean, it's really just about kind of overcoming, I guess, like the negative mindset that maybe you would sit in and kind of like choosing to, I guess, see things in a more positive light. Because I think for us, or at least for me, when I wrote it, there was just a time of like, I think this is when I recently moved to Nashville, and just everything was very new, and it had been probably 6 years before, like since I had been to a new place. And so I think it was just kind of overwhelming. Like I was just in this new place with new people, and I just didn't know that I liked it. Like I wanted to be here, but like I also like didn't really want to be here at the time. And yeah, so I kind of just wrote about that, of just like feeling very, I don't know, just like
Doesn't feel like home.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like home, and just kind of wanting to write something that I guess expressed that. And so Blood Orange came out. I cried while I wrote it. I feel like there's like these songs that like, you know, it's a good, and that's probably why I was very much like, this needs to be the first single, because there's just some songs that just like invoke this weird emotion where I'm like writing it and I'm like, because I think a lot of the writing that I do, sorry, I go on tangents.
No, this is great, because I meant to ask you.
I feel like the writing, I feel like the writing that I do, there's a very clear distinction between when I'm like, sometimes I'll write lyrics down or ideas and then I'll try to write stuff. Sometimes I'll just pick up a guitar and just kind of sing and figure it out. And that was one of the songs. There's been a few songs where I just like start singing and I'm kind of improvising, and the final lyrics just come out. And that was one of those times. It's kind of like I'm just sitting there and I'm just effing around, and then all of a sudden I sing that chorus exactly like that, and I'm like, okay, it's that realization of like, okay, yeah, I just landed on something that's pretty golden. You know what I mean?
I was gonna ask if kind of, I mean, your what you write is definitely, it's heavy emotion, but and by the way, thank you for censoring yourself. You didn't have to. I heard the effing around. I heard you say it, but yeah,
you got it.
Yeah, that's that. I was gonna ask. I mean, it's very deep stuff. So that's crazy. That's like something that you can write, because what you're writing is you're really putting your experiences in your life goal. Like you're putting everything to pen and paper right there. So
yeah, and I think it's clear in like the music that people gravitate to, because I had that same thing with Waterfalls, Somebody's Gonna Love You, and You Don't Love Me, which are all top 5 for us. So like those, I remember making those songs and like the places I was when I wrote them and things like that. And those kind of things just happen very similarly, where it's like, okay, I'm not really even trying right now, but it's like, okay, it's like a very like cathartic thing, because it's like, okay, my brain and my body needed to say that, and I didn't really like try to say it just happened, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it makes those songs like more special, I guess.
Nice. I think the next one is from @_Matthew McCaffrey. What's the inspiration behind your new EP, and any dates? He wrote he and I emoji, so he's definitely interested in getting you guys out into his show and live.
A lot of the commentary is kind of like inward reflecting. So kind of like Blood Orange, Anxious is kind of about, it's about like a relationship, a hypothetical relationship, but just kind of like the anxiety that is induced in somebody being like clingy. And then a few of the other songs are just kind of about like other mental health things, like, and just kind of reflecting on, like, we have a song called Box that's on the record that is just like about being mentally trapped and unable to move forward because of like jealousy or envy or something like that. So I feel like it's a lot like deeper content. It's definitely like, it's still poppy and catchy, and like they're well written. Like it doesn't feel too deep or like boring. But yeah, we just wanted to talk about like important things, rather than just like relationships, because I just think that has kind of gotten to a point of being stale for us. And I think that's why we like this record so much too, is that I think that they're really good songs and really good, catchy and hooky and things like that, but we're like saying real things. And I think that's why we like it so much, or at least one of the reasons.
So, and
anything else that it means to you, Jack? From the perspective of somebody who didn't write all of them, you know?
It's funny because I actually didn't think about how introspective it was until you said that. And then I was like thinking through all the songs on it. I was like, it actually kind of is. I mean, I think you nailed it. Like, Yeah. I don't really have much to add, to be honest.
Is there a song that Jack that you play that like you feel the emotion that's coming out? I mean, obviously he wrote the songs, but like when you play it, that like either you enjoy more because you know what he's going through, or that it's just fun to play live.
Of like new stuff or just the whole catalog?
It can be the whole catalog, like your favorite. Like this is just what I want to play.
Can I out a name of a song?
Yeah.
Or do you not want me to?
Oh.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, you said that. And I was like, absolutely. We were like, oh yeah, go ahead.
He's like, yeah. Let's just do this.
Let's do this. Let's get it live right here.
You're trying to play it too. That's cool.
There's one that we ran for the first time. It's called Forgive and Forget, and that one's always been like since the first time I heard it. That was always like, I mean, I don't exactly know where it came out of for Jansen, but like that one. And it's not even like I'm going through anything in my life that like it like was speaking to me like identically, but like that one's a really like emotional one kind of to even play. And Boy on the Phone is always so much fun too. I'm trying to think of what else is like really, there's so many new ones we haven't like got to really do in a live setting.
See, but that's awesome.
I think the end of Waterfalls too always is like, I don't want to call it emotional, but it's like it builds and then it's like this big like feels like big release at the very outro of that, especially live. We kind of lay into it, and that always just like feels, because it's usually the last song we do too. So I think there's partially like a relief that I can sit down after this. But it's like it's just like any bit that's left in the tank, it just blow it out here. So that's always like such a. I guess it's kind of emotional. It just feels good. It just feels
that's like the one that everybody knows and is singing the most. So it's like it feels really good to like get to that very end and just there's no more words and just kind of like it like releases the perfect word. It just everything opens up and just feels right.
Yeah,
Raincoat always felt really good too. We don't play it much anymore.
Cheeks said that Waterfall was the perfect closure for you guys' set. Like he literally was just like, I mean, no matter if it's your favorite song or whatnot, like that's just the way it has to end. I could totally see that.
I like that one, and Towel is probably my favorite. Honestly, Towel is like
Towel came back around.
Slow burns.
Towel came back around for me.
Yeah, Towel's like a sad boy song, but at the same time not. I don't know. I like it. I tend to skip like slower songs, typically even ours, just because it's not always the vibe. But every once in a while, I'll just like let it play enough to where I'm into it. And then I'm like, man, I forgot how good this song was. I did that the other day. I think I tweeted it. I was like, I forgot how good this song was.
Shit, James is going to make me cry. God damn it.
We have one last question. It is from, I could be messing this up. It could be Becca Victoria. She's asking, what is the most useless talent that you have?
Hello, Becca.
Hello, Becca.
Becca.
She's from Scotland.
Do you actually know her?
Yeah, I know all the fans. What are you talking about?
Yeah, sorry. I should have said that. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, I sent Maddie a DM earlier yesterday, actually.
See, now
the first one's Oliver. I know we're on first name basis now. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, she really put you guys on the spot. Thank you, Becca. Thank you.
Great question.
Screaming
I know I have one.
Screaming has found itself to be pretty useless these days. I don't really flex that muscle much anymore.
That is true. I hope you don't have to flex it.
Now I'm on Zoom calls and business screaming to no one in my room.
Yeah, I play obscene amount of RuneScape lately. And not that that's a skill, but it's pretty useless. And I put way too much time into it, like an embarrassing amount of time, and it all means nothing.
Dude, RuneScape sucked up a lot of my childhood.
It did too, and then I took like a 10-year break, and now I'm back, and I'm back and better than ever.
All my buddies in college, there was one day he came in my room and was like, dude, RuneScape, and I was like, fuck, why'd you have to do that to me, dude?
Such a time suck.
Dust it off. Let's get on, dude. Let's start that guild up.
All right, we've given you enough time, Jansen. Let's hear it.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. Like, honestly.
He's like, I'm good at everything, and it's all useful.
I'm not. I don't know, man. Because I know that there is something, like you asking me that question, I know I know that I have an answer. I can't remember what the answer is. Here's one. I'm really good at parallel parking.
Ooh.
Oh, but that's useful.
That's useful.
Dude, that's
though.
useful.
That's super,
You know how many
super
times-
useful.
I guess that is useful. Yeah, okay.
Is it useful
Well,
in Tennessee?
I guess it's a weird
How
town.
good I am at parallel parking.
You know what? It's not useful here in Indy.
You know, you're like, hey, yo,
Yeah.
you know what, babe? Get out of the car. Watch this. Watch this. Ooh, baby. Let's
Check
go for a
this.
ride. There you go.
Dude, there's one time where I'll never forget this moment in my entire life.
DC.
That day I was not good at parallel parking. That day I hit a car with the trailer. But one time when I was in high school, I parallel parked, and it was a pretty tight space. And I got out, and these like two skater kids, like I got out of the car, and they just literally looked at me and were like, "That was really good,
Dude, see, that's
I was
that's
like,
well
thank
earned.
you.
Well earned. That's when you know. Well earned.
I know. It's like there's nothing that feels better than doing something that like everybody, like not everybody, but if you're on the street and people are watching you, it's really easy to be very like you're put on blast. Like everyone can see whether or not you can parallel park, you know?
Yeah.
And it feels good to know that I can do that with confidence and not feel like everybody else is laughing while I'm doing it. Because that's what I would do if I see somebody parallel parking on the street poorly. Like, because you know right away when it's not going to work.
Yeah. You pull out your phone and you're like, I'm going to get this.
I watched that guy go. That
Yeah,
guy
I
roast them
sucks.
immediately.
That guy sucks.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we appreciate you having you on, man. That thank you for diving in.
Whoa,
with us.
wait. Before we go, because I know I listened to one of your podcasts.
Oh,
really?
Here
Which
we go.
one?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I don't remember which one it was, but I know you guys talked about the Pacers a lot.
Yeah.
Indiana Pacers.
Yeah,
Let's go.
And the Colts.
I'm a big fan.
Look, Cheeks
Yeah,
is just.
I can't say that I am a huge Pacers fan. Jack,
Let's
is.
go. Reggie Miller
Hey.
jersey frame.
That's why I was like, Jack, you got to hop on here because I was like, they might throw some Pacers questions at us.
Jack, I will pay you for that
You
jersey
didn't,
right
so
now.
I'm telling you that you got to do it.
Well, does Jeff still drum for the Pacers drum line or not?
Not anymore. He did for
Okay.
like a number of years.
Yeah. Cheeks films for the Pacers.
Yep. I'm a videographer for them.
Thank God that you had that frame too. Like that you know the worth of that jersey. That jersey's not just sitting in your closet. That jersey
True.
is framed.
Absolutely not, dude. Absolutely not. It's painful. These last couple games have really
Dude.
hurt my
Dude,
self-esteem.
Dude,
the
TJ
last
McConnell last night though. I mean, he showed up for us. That was Indiana basketball.
Yeah.
I love Squirrely McConnell, dude. Squirrely McConnell in and out, bro.
Yo, well, thanks guys for hanging out with us for a bit virtually today. Next time we'll have to make it in the studio and get you
For
guys
sure.
in here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you're in Indy, I mean, you guys got to stop by the studio before you go play a gig in Old National.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd love to. I'm actually not that
Absolutely.
far
That'd be
from
so
you guys.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
live
true.
Pretty close.
Come say hi. We'll do it. We'll do another episode. We'll get a drink, and then you guys
for sure.
do whatever, man. But we definitely got to come check out the show because I am begging. The way he talks about Waterfall as the outro, I got to hear it. I got to hear it live.
But yeah, guys, thanks so
Oh, yeah.
much for hanging out, and we're really excited to see how this project unfolds and what you guys do in 2021.
For sure.
Oh,
For
yeah,
sure.
man.
Thank you guys so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.